don't get what I want, I get what I need. Every single day I'm heading off to my dream, and I get everything that I damn well please. I don't give a damn if you all listening to me, cause I run it. I'm the only one that really want it. I'm the only one that's really on it. I'm just being honest, I'm just doing everything I promise.
This here is one of my favorite cornering drills that I do with all the people that I work with. And it breaks down corners pretty easily and gives you a way to understand them, because a lot of people get really confused and there's a lot of different mindsets about how to hit a corner. And I break it down. What I do is I put cones. I put a point where you should be getting off your brakes, at least your back brake. You may want to trail your front brake a little bit further when they get off the brakes and roll zone. And then you have your start acceleration zone, and that's typically placed at the apex of the corner. And that's where you start to get on the throttle. And ideally, once you get on the throttle, you want to stay on the throttle all the way to where I put the pin it to win it zone. That is where you're wide open, bike straight up. You can pin it out of the corner. So this is a really good drill. This corner right here, I had the 65s cut it in. So it made a nice little hook, because those little bikes can cut some really tight corners. So I'm going to go over a couple videos and have you take a look and see, before I tell you what's wrong with one video or wrong with the other, see if you can catch what the two errors are as far as doing these zones correctly. All right, let's watch the video. Okay, hopefully you caught something. I'm sure you might have caught some other things that I didn't catch, and yes, I know that I shifted my foot out to the side after using the rear brake, and I didn't go back to the ball of my foot. Bad habit of mine. Always try to go back to the ball of your foot, like Landon Finelli here is doing correctly on the right picture. So the difference between Landon and I in this tight hooked rut was patience. I've learned over the years you can't rush things on a dirt bike. If you try to rush corners, you mess them up. So what Landon did here was he got on the gas a little too early. And this is the point, when I slow down both videos, at which you can see our tires are starting to rotate and spit up dirt. If Landon would have waited another 5 feet until he got to the cones, it wouldn't have messed up the corner on him. And what happened is he got too antsy, wasn't patient enough, got on the gas before he was at the apex. And in a hooked corner like this, if you get on the gas too early, you'll actually see what happens in the next pictures. He bottoms the bike out, it stands him up, and he's unable to turn. So in this part, from the braking to the roll zone, it is very, very important to be patient. Don't rush your corners. And I find this with a lot of people I teach, is they get so aggressive when they ride, they can't be patient. When you get done with the brakes, let your bike roll and be patient. It'll make your life easier. You won't pump up as much. You won't get as tired. Let your bike roll in the corner. So you can see here, there's a picture of Landon and I in the same spot. And you can see how Landon's bike is starting to straighten up and his rear is actually rebounded higher than mine. And that's because he got on the gas before the hook. He hit the hook, his suspension bottomed, and now his body is starting to straighten up. The bike is starting to straighten up, and it's sending him on a path that goes outside of the rut. If you look at the picture of me on the left here, my bike is squatting past the hook in the corner because I waited until I got to the hook to accelerate. Now my bike squats at the hook, and it's still continuing to follow the rut in the right path. So when you watch the videos, it doesn't look like much, but that little bit of patience waiting till you get to the apex to accelerate in a tight hooked corner like this makes a big difference. So looking at Landon and looking at me, yes, they look very similar, but if you look at the body stature of both of us and the trajectory of our bikes, you can see that one path is going outside of the rut and one path is going inside of the rut. And we all know from riding, you get a little bit outside of the path of that rut, things start to get a little sideways on you. If you listen closely in the first videos where it has the noise of the bikes, you can hear Landon accelerate and then his bike stands up and he has to let off, let it drop back down in the rut, and then he can accelerate again. And that's where the corner mistake is made. If you listen to mine, I'm not perfect by any means, and I'm not the greatest cornerer in the world, but I've just been doing this for 30 years. If you listen to mine, once I'm on the gas, I continue to stay on the gas. So what Landon essentially did is made 2 acceleration points in the corner. He accelerated, made a mistake, let off, stood the bike up, had to let off to drop the bike back in, and then he got back on the gas. All right, so if you look at this last picture, Landon corrected it. He has straightened up his body a little bit, and that was due to trying to correct the rebound in the middle of the corner. And if you take an intermediate rider and compare him to a pro rider, and you compare a slow pro rider to a really fast pro rider, most of the time it is going to be mid-corner speed. That is where people lose their time. And mid-corner speed turns into exit speed. I learned that the hard way through all my years of racing. So here, he's kind of fixed it. We've straightened up, but down that straightaway, the person who does not mess up the hook in that corner is going to be miles per hour faster. The middle of the corner is where it's won and lost. Whoever does the middle of the corner the fastest, the smoothest, and rolls through it the best is going to be probably the fastest guy on the track most of the time. What do they say? Jump for show, corner for dough. Corners are where it's at.